Tell me, what does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say? Does the sun shine bright forever? Have your fears and your pain gone away? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the angels' choir. And I hope the angels know what they have. I bet it's so nice up in heaven since you arrived. So tell me, what do you do in heaven? Are your days filled with love and light? Is there music? Is there art and invention? Tell me, are you happy? Are you more alive? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the angels' choir. And I hope the angels know what they have. I bet it's so nice up in heaven since you arrived. Since you arrived. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the angels' choir. And I hope the angels know what they have. I bet it's so nice up in heaven since you arrived. Since you arrived. Does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say?
Hey y'all, can you hear me good? Mr. Mark, Ty, Nicole. No, I love you, Nicole. It makes me think of my mama too, Nicole. It does. New kids, hey, always a pleasure. Vexing, I knew I seen you, my love. So good to see you back around. I love you, Vexing. It is a great song. Makes me think of my mama. I meant to go live earlier, but I've had so much shit going on. I'm just getting home. Right. All right, let's see here. I haven't even watched that you sent me earlier, Nicole. So I haven't really watched anything yet. I've watched a little TikTok here and there. Let's see here. But not much because I've been busy. Nicole, did you get your tracking number I sent you, love? I don't remember if I sent it on. Look, JLR, okay. It is Cha. Okay, good, Nicole. It is, and I bet he found that phone because her phone got turned off. I heard it August 1st. JLR, y'all know I love some JLR. He's one of my favorites for real. He's doing so fucking good. I want to buy his book, but my fucking Amazon account got shut down. If I send one of my buddies money, would y'all order it for me and send it to me? Let's see here. I've tried him before too, Cha. I used to not be able to stand him. Oh God, when he was with Molly and all them. See, I've known him since the Chris Watts case, and he has came so far. I want his book so bad. Yeah, vexing. He wrote a book about his life, about him going to federal prison and everything. He put all of his dirt in that book. Yeah, he wrote a book. Sure did. You know, he's very honest about his past. Let's see here. Make sure I ain't going out. You didn't know him then, child? Yeah, I've known him since 2018. Robert Downey Jr. Did y'all see where RFK Jr. endorsed Trump today? I love it. Trump's got some powerful people. He's got a powerhouse behind him, and I love it. Here is JLR's book called Nothing is Written in Stone. He wrote it in 2018. That's when the Watts case happened. It says over the last 20 years, Jonathan Lee Riches has cultivated an air of mystery. Having originally been incarcerated for wire fraud in 2003, he became infamous both inside the prison and on the internet for filing thousands of frivolous lawsuits. These suits, often directed at celebrities and corporations, ought to instead be seen as attacks on language and the fabric of society reality itself. Dr. Mark, something nothing is written in stone. His most notable suits. Yeah, it's got all of his stuff in it. This is his book. And it's only $16.99. Yep, Trump. Do you know when you go to federal prison, you fucking have it made. It's better than state or county anytime. Hey, Megs, I love you. I did some prison time back in 2007, but I learned my fucking lesson. Trust and believe that. I love you so much too, Megs. CJLR's book here. Hey, Megs, do you have Amazon? If I send you the money, would you order this for me and send it to my house? Because my Amazon, I can't fucking get on it. I don't know why. I haven't been able to in a long time. I don't know what the fuck I've done to get locked out of it. I want JLR's book. That's what we're looking at right now. Truly. Thank you, Megs. Like I like getting books of people like this, like Carolyn Cadle, ain't that her name? That wrote the books on Chris Watts. I got her books that she wrote on him. Um, I got Naomi Judd's books. I got those. Um, because they are from where not close, not too far from where I'm from in Kentucky. You have his book in there too? Oh, truly, see? We all make mistakes, yeah. And but my past has made me who I am. And it is called Nothing is Written in Stone, Jonathan Riches. Nothing is Written in Stone. It's a black and white cover. Nicole, I don't know. I might have. I've watched a lot of stuff on the Judds. I love the Judds. Ashley Judd used to go to every Kentucky home basketball game. I've actually met her before, Ashley Judd, at a basketball game in Kentucky. She's a huge Kentucky basketball fan. I don't know if she still goes to them. There was some controversy. What was it? I can't remember. There was some controversy with her for something. Can't remember what it was. There was some Ashley Judd controversy. But yeah, I love the Judds. But after Naomi died, Winona, I think, hold on. It's called Crimea River or something like that, the book. I just like books. And I've done a lot of shit when I was younger. Since I've been out of prison, though, I've really got my shit together. I've not fucking done nothing to, no, fuck that. But before, oh my God, I'm surprised I'm out of prison. You know what I mean? Like Winona's daughter was homeless. Huh. Why was she homeless? Why didn't she live with Winona? Man, when I first got my license and stuff, and I'd run around in town, with my friends, and fuck, I'd drink and drive. We'd go get vodka from the bootlegger. There's bootleggers back then, and they sold it to us minors. Fuck, that's the hill country of Kentucky. I got a lot of Charles Manson books. Yeah, I'm a Charles Manson fan. There's a really good book on him about the 60s and the CIA. Ty, if you want to read a good book, it's interesting as fuck. She's an addict. Aw. Mm. Maybe Naomi taking her life. That didn't probably help either. She used to write. No way, truly. Are you shitting me? I'm so fucking jealous. So she's a fan of Charlie too. Charles Manson had a brilliant, beautiful fucking mind. He loved the earth. He just He had a beautiful mind. I got the book, I'll send you a picture of it, it's a good one. I love Charlie too, truly. Oh my god, that's awesome. People will get on me, I don't care. He didn't kill nobody. I think the CIA fucking got a hold of him, I swear to. Just read that book, it's yeah. Yep, I agree, truly. I agree. I agree. Nicole, I just seen where you text me the link there. Okay, let's watch some JLR on Mamta here. I don't want to get squirreled off. This is could y'all drop his link to this live, please, and thank you. Give him a thumbs up. I love him and Magnolia together. They are so good together. MK Ultra. See, I haven't dug into MK Ultra. That I want to though. I don't know much about MK Ultra, but I want to for sure. I really want to cover John Podesta and his brother and Chester Bennington. Them. Me and Squid was gonna. We done a lot of research on that, and this shit's deep. Y'all know about that? I know some of y'all do. Y'all heard me talk about. But look at this picture. I swear, John Podesta is Chester Bennington's father. Look at this. You cannot tell me that's not father and son right there. And I would never believe Chester or Chris Cornell took their own life. Never. Never. I love Magnolia too. She's beautiful inside out. She really is. You never seen that, Mags? Yeah, let me put it back up there again. Yep. And Chester died on Chris Cornell's birthday, I believe. They died just a few months apart. See, vexing it is, ain't it? Yeah, it's. I should, because there's a song that Chris and Chester done about harvesting babies and stuff. If you just listen to it, they were going to expose something, I believe, and that's why they lost their life. There's no way both of them, best friends, lost their life the same, took their own life, you know? Nope, he didn't do it. I agree, truly. I don't think it was a Clinton list. I think it was John Podesta took care of it, his own father. I follow Chester's son on TikTok, and he's like totally against, he believes his dad took his life. But I got a video of Chester the day before he died, and he was very, very happy. I know, Bexing. That's why I've not done it yet. I know. I know. I got tons and tons of stuff saved on that. Like, yeah, and that's why I've not really done it yet. Yep, yeah. And John Podesta's brother. And remember, John Podesta had a house in Truckee, California, where Kylie lived. Yeah, let's look at that picture one more time. You cannot tell me there's no blood here. That's just crazy, ain't it? Okay, now tell me, are these two people here kin? Do you think these two people are kin related? Right, vexing. That's what I said. Do they look alike? Blood related? Or what about the famous Jaundice? Because I don't like him no more. Don't she look like a fucking possum? Yeah, the possum's cute. They have the same eyes, same nose, same mouth, everything. I can't fucking stand that bitch. Hold on, let me show y'all something funny too, real quick before I start this, because I'm gonna get real sad and shit. Hold on. I seen this on Facebook. It's a sock account on Facebook. It's fucking hilarious. I have a weird sense of humor. Some of y'all might not think it's funny, but I do. Fucking hilarious. Nicole, I've dreamed about him too. It happens, love. It does. Same eyes, yeah. I swear she's a fucking lizard. She's always licking her lips. I know it's part of her syndrome, but I just can't fucking stand her. She gonna go back to jail, guarantee it. Where is that picture I just uploaded? Look at this. This is fucking hilarious. This is a sock account somebody has on Facebook. Oh my god, I crack up every time I see this. I'm sorry. I got a fucking dark sense of humor. Oh my god. Okay, let's get to this serious stuff here. I just need to laugh before that because this cracks me up every time I fucking see it. I don't go to Justin's chat. I ain't got nothing for him. I don't like him. I'm done with all that shit. You know, cause like I've had a love hate for people once. No, 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 no. Okay, here we go. JLR. Penny's link for me, or not pin it, post it, please. Thank you. This was 2 hours ago.
Come on in. New key details in the Mamta Kaffelbot case. We have a lot of things going on, folks. I'm looking at multiple screens here. A lot of new information has come out in the last 24 hours. This man, as you see, is the husband. He has been arrested concealing a body. Manassas Park, Virginia. They took the baby away. The baby is currently in the custody of the state right now. And I can report that her family, Mamta's family, has been granted.
Yeah, I heard about that. I'm pissed about that.
The baby very shortly. So that's good news on that front. He was in court today. Mr. Naresh, the guy you see right there, the husband, not cooperating still, and they still haven't found Mamta. However, as a lot of you know already, that she is presumed dead. It's a very, very sad situation, but shocking details have come out about what happened with this case. An individual that was in the courthouse today came out and shared what happened at his arraignment. He's being held without bond, so he didn't get a bond. And the things that he did, folks, is parallels to the Brian Anawash case, right? He was buying cleaning supplies.
That's what I said.
Knives are they haven't accountable the knives. They bought like 3 knives, and they only found 1, so they haven't found all the knives yet. It's just a very, very sad situation, but I think there is accountability time. And he also was issued a lawyer today. We're going to talk about his public defender. His public defender is maintaining innocence, maintaining his client is innocence. That's how public
Me too, true.
Roll and work. But what in the world is going on here? So I got some clips. We want to follow this case. I might bring Magnolia up in the chat because we've been following this case for the last 24 hours. So apparently yesterday, the police chief spoke with a bunch of people indoors. It wasn't filmed. There was no cameras allowed inside the facility, but there were it's been applied that the police chief is building a case. So they got him on the concealment of body. They have enough evidence to get him on at least concealment of the body, and they're building a stronger case. But new details have come out where he attempted to, he actually sold his car. Did he sell his car? I believe he sold his car. Was it selling his car or attempted to sell the car? He bought a bunch of knives.
The car in the house.
Supplies. He was trying to sell his home. Authorities, saw some passports on him. He was probably ready to jet out of the country as a flight risk, like we predicted. And not helping with the search whatsoever. A lot of concealment and a lot of strange, bizarre things. So let's get some key details. This is the best news report that I found on this case thus far right here. We're going to listen to it right here.
Right now, Naresh Bhatt, the man arrested in connection to his wife's disappearance, is in Manassas Park, remains in a Prince William County jail without bond. The 37-year-old was in court this morning for the first time, facing a single count of concealing a dead body. Rafael Sanchez-Cruz was inside the courtroom and joins us live outside of the Prince William County courthouse right now. Rafael, the biggest bombshell that we learned in this case was that man is alleged to have killed his wife. That's right, Larry, but he has not been charged with murder. In these documents obtained just a couple hours ago, they say that Naresh Bhatt killed his 28-year-old wife. However, prosecutors have not presented any evidence that he in fact did it. I want to make something clear. Naresh Bhatt has never confessed to murder. But the evidence found inside the home paints a very gruesome story. Prince William County prosecutors say that inside the family's Manassas Park home, investigators found evidence that Mamta's dead body was inside the residence and that it was dragged out. Using Blue Star technology, detectives say they found evidence of pools of blood throughout the home, mainly in the primary bedroom. Prosecutors say the entire primary bedroom bathroom lit up with the technology, and when investigators removed the tub, they found blood in the caulking. Now, the Commonwealth's attorney says that on July 30th, Naresh Bhatt purchased 3 knives at a Chantilly Walmart. 2 of those knives have not been found. They also have video evidence of him buying cleaning supplies at another Walmart the next day. Prosecutors say that throughout the investigation, Bhatt lied about the timeline of events, telling Manassas Park Police that the last time he saw his wife was on July 31st, and then saying it was the morning of August 1st. When Manassas Park Police conducted that welfare check on August 2nd, investigators say that Naresh Bhatt did not want to report Mamta missing because she was with family in Texas or New York, but Mamta doesn't have family in the U.S. Police say he also told them that Mamta had destroyed her phone before disappearing. It was also revealed today in court that Naresh sold his blue Tesla to CarMax this past Monday, and that he tried to sell his home to 2 people recently. Officers say they found the home packed up with suitcases in his room, and that both Naresh and his daughter's passports were in sight. Outside of court, those who love Mamta were stunned by today's revelation. Let's listen.
Absolutely shocking.
What stood out to you about it?
I think there's several things. The amount of evidence that they could release, the volume of blood, they used the words blood pooling. They identified large volumes of looked like blood stains. I don't think that we were quite prepared for the image that they painted of what actually occurred, most likely in that master bedroom and master bathroom. While we've all had our own ideas, I don't think the horrific nature of it was what we expected to hear today.
And Naresh Bhatt is due back in court on October 24th. He's being represented by a court-appointed public defender who can still file a motion regarding his bonds. The good news in all of this is that the Nepalese community tells us that Mamta's mother has received her emergency visa to come from Nepal to the United States to be reunited with Mamta's 1-year-old daughter. I know she's been waiting for this for a very long time. I'm live in Manassas. Back to you, Larry.
You can only imagine what that family is going through as they prepare to make their way here to the United States, given the circumstances that they're currently facing. Raphael, thank you so much. WSA 9 was the...
That was a good report. That was a good report. So that was somebody that was in the courtroom. I'm also going to share now. She's still not been found. It looks like a situation. I'll be honest. I don't want to be graphic here, folks, and I don't want to offend anyone, but it looks like he cut her up inside the bedroom. That's where it was. And, you know, notice when he was giving that interview, you know, he was really acting weird about what transpired in the bedrooms and how they slept. And one slept on the floor and heard a noise. I honestly think he cut her up and dragged her out and then probably put her in the Tesla. And then he took the Tesla parts, bags, maybe, you know, to a landfill, kind of maybe like Jennifer Doolittle.
Oh, Vexing, that's sweet as hell.
Again, I don't want to be graphic here, but I'm just trying to figure it out. You know, it's very, very sad. We knew the guy was involved from the get-go. We suspected it. We called it out as it is. Their behaviors implicate their own selves. And this guy was clearly involved from the get-go. His behavior, just by the way, him not doing any action whatsoever, inconsistent statements, weirdness, his background, the combination of everything, even the family suspecting him and even the family reaching out to us. And speaking to Magnolia in chat, you know, they thought it was him, you know, right from the beginning. So I never believed that 31st timeline. I always said the last time he actually had contact with somebody possibly was the 28th, or at least she was at work, RN, on the 27th. He claims the 31st, but it looks like he was actually already buying the cleaning supplies after the murder was committed on the 31st, right? He told the media, oh, yeah, we went to bed on the 31st and woke up and she wasn't there. But it seems like him buying the knives on the 30th,
snacks, I love
crime probably occurred sometime the night into the 30th, the night of the 30th into the morning of the 31st. And then after the crime was committed, then he was always, you know, they always get caught this way. Purchases, surveillance, seeing him at stores, buying the cleaning supplies and all that stuff is the one that usually ends up burying the suspect. You know, they think they're smart, but they're not smart because the police have the technology resources to, you know, nail people and find out where you were, what you bought, corroborate it with surveillance, and you are cooked. You're cooked. And they said something about Blue Star Technologies. I'm trying to look. Is that some sort of they were able to determine blood inside the home? Is that similar to luminol? Is that a similar like technology like that? And we figured that the forensics was in there using that stuff all over the floor to determine, you know, if there's been blood splattered or bleach put all over the place and everything like the luminol, right? Yeah. So people in the chat were talking about that and saying that will probably determine, they will be able to determine quick if some sort of crime happened inside the house and stuff like that. I just don't know why they never did that on Sebastian Rogers' case, but that's a whole other talk about. So there was somebody in court today. This individual here was speaking, and she said she was in the court and she shared some stuff. So we'll play this clip. I don't know her name offhand, but I was able to clip her up, and I'm sure you might recognize her. I think they say her TikTok account is on here, but she also gave some key details about what she learned while in the courtroom. So I'm going to share this information right here.
Naresh Bhatt, Mamta Coughley's husband, was just arraigned this morning. I'm still sitting outside of the courtroom. Here's everything that I learned. I was just on a 90-minute live, so I answered a lot of people's questions there. I'll try to post clips from the live, but I took notes, and here is the rundown. Now, I want to preface all of this by saying that this is an arraignment, so nobody was testifying, and what we did get was an overview of the evidence that the Commonwealth has as to why they brought the charge of concealing a dead body. All right, so we do learn a lot of interesting facts during this from the Commonwealth. So the Commonwealth's attorney, the prosecution, started off talking about the timeline, and the last video I made is how pissed I've been about this July 31st date as the last face you've seen. That is not the day Mamta went missing. Everything happened before that, and when he was charged, the date of offense was July 30th, and let's talk about how they got that. According to the Commonwealth's attorney, Naresh was originally telling people who were calling and asking where Mamta was in those first couple of days. Because remember, she was last seen at work on the 27th. The last time anybody in the U.S. apparently spoke to her was the 28th, and that was the date of her last social media posts. Her mom spoke to her July 30th Nepal time, July 29th here, but nobody could get in touch with Mamta after that, which was extremely out of character. So apparently Naresh was originally telling people that Mamta took off to go stay with family. I couldn't catch where he said she went. Maybe he said New York, but I'm not 100% sure on that. He also said that the reason they couldn't reach her by phone is because she destroyed her phone herself. The updated timeline is July 29th, her phone was still receiving data, and that makes sense based on her mother's interview. July 30th is when her phone stopped receiving data and all calls started going to voicemail. Mamta's phone last pinged in Loudoun County. Loudoun County is a neighboring county. They didn't say where in the county, but depending on where, it would be anywhere from half an hour to an hour away from her home. Interestingly, Naresh put himself at a cafe on July 30th near where Mamta's phone last pinged. So he put himself in the area of the last ping. So on July 30th, he went to a Walmart located in Chantilly, Virginia. Chantilly, Virginia, that Walmart that they're talking about is probably 20 minutes from his home. And there he bought a 3-pack of knives. 2 of those knives cannot be accounted. The next day, July 31st, he went to another Walmart, this one located in Loudoun County. He didn't say specifically where. If I had to guess, I'd say Sterling. But there he bought cleaning supplies. They do have CCTV evidence of these 2 Walmart stops. We're going to jump ahead to them doing the search warrant at his home. Now, this is where we found a lot of evidence. So remember when people were saying that they saw the police take out pieces of carpet from the home? Well, now we know why. According to
I agree, truly. I think so.
They found what appears to be pooling of blood and blood spatter throughout the home. They were able to find this using Blue Star technology, is how she referred to it. Basically, that's luminol. And so luminol is a chemical that you can spray, and it will react to blood. However, it can also react to different substances, such as bleach, in the same way. So there is a possibility that this isn't blood, and this does, get brought up later.
It's blood. It's
When
blood.
investigators entered the master bedroom, they saw that the bed had been moved to a location where it was blocking the master closet. So investigators obviously thought that was weird. When they moved the bed, they saw that there was a stain on the carpet underneath the bed. It was a light pink stain. The investigators believed it to have been a blood stain that was cleaned up. They used the Blue Star tech, and they do believe that it is blood. Then again, using the tech, they saw that what appears to be blood goes into the bathroom, and that there were drag marks from the bedroom into the bathroom. They used the tech in the shower, and it lit up. It lit up like a Christmas tree, indicating that there had been a substantial amount of blood in the shower. So because they found what appears to be a substantial amount of blood in the shower, they physically removed the bathtub. And once they removed the bathtub, they found what, to the naked eye, so we're not talking about luminol testing or anything like that now, what appears to the naked eye to be dried blood in the caulk of the bathtub. So that obviously they took samples, and they sent that to the lab as well.
He's nailed.
They found cleaning supplies that they saw by the Walmart. Now, the next part that they talked about was whether or not Naresh is a flight risk. The prosecution contends that he is, because they said that when they got to the home to execute the search warrant, that the home was in disarray. They found a bag packed. They found his passport and his daughter's passport as well. Naresh, another big thing, I've been talking since the very beginning about how police need to get the data from his Tesla, the camera data, the location data, all of that data from the Tesla. Well, he sold his Tesla. He sold his Tesla on August 19th, and he sold it to CarMax. So we don't know if police were able to get any of that data prior to the sale, or if they weren't, if they're able to get any data now that it has been sold. I don't know the current location of that car. Now, speaking of selling things, he had also contacted 2 different people about potentially selling his home in Manassas Park. Okay, so that is basically what we got from the prosecution. After the prosecution kind of laid out the evidence that they had, then it was the defense's turn. And the defense said that his lawyer said basically, look, I know this looks bad, but looking bad is not evidence of murder. Yeah, he sold his car. Maybe he doesn't like Elon Musk anymore. Literally, that is what his lawyer said in court. That was like the first thing he said. So he's like, yeah, he sold his car. Who cares? He also brought up the point that we don't know officially from a scientific perspective if what police found in the home was in fact blood. They just found substances that appear to be blood. It needs to be tested, and testing takes time. So as of this moment, on August 23rd, we don't know if they found any blood in the home.
Give me a break.
His lawyer also said that, if he wanted to leave, he had plenty of time to do it, which is a fair point because he didn't leave already. He's not a flight risk.
He sold his car.
Like, I think he should be released on discharge. You don't have a body. We don't even know she's dead. So his lawyer's arguing that he shouldn't be held on the charge of concealing a dead body because we don't know if there is a dead body. And then he said, hey, you can release them and do GPS monitoring. I've got a lot to say about GPS monitoring. Please see our episode on AJ Silva for more, but that's a whole other issue. So that's basically what we got from the agreement today. As of that hearing, his next hearing, the preliminary, was scheduled for October 24th, but I would imagine there's probably going to be a bond hearing prior to that. But I'll let you know as soon as I find anything else. Like I said, I've been in the courtroom, I've been doing the live, so I don't know about any outside information that's happened this morning. If you have information, my DMs are open. Also, if you have anything you'd like to send me in terms of like links, files, things like that, my email is in my bio. And as always, I'll keep you updated.
Great report. Always good to get insiders. I don't think they can film in Virginia, so we have to rely on the citizens and or reporters to go out. So he did, in fact, sell his car a few days ago, his Tesla. And he was trying to sell the house that they just recently bought in less than 1 year. And authorities found bags with his passport and his daughter's passport laying out, which means to me, flight risk, right? And now the public defenders, they're always going to say this, that, and the other presumption of innocence. This is his public defender, by the way. I'm going to show you his public defender. His name is Shalev Ben Avraham. And this is the public defender that has been assigned to him. He actually, according to the Virginia Indigent Defense Commission, received an award in 2022. And this is him. This is his public defender at the taxpayer's expense. This will be who will be representing Mr. Naresh. So you know, the more you know. And I actually went to the public defenders. They say here, Prince William County Circuit Court Trial Attorney of the Year. So this guy might be putting up a fight. Remember, Naresh is not cooperating with authorities. He never cooperated. Whether he'll cooperate now, he's. This is his LinkedIn bio. This is the attorney. He doesn't have a photo out there on his LinkedIn. Fairfax County, Virginia, Senior Assistant Public Defender for Prince William County Public Defenders. And this is his resume. So he's been around for a minute. He's been doing law since at least 2013. Assistant Public Defender, Indigent Public Defender. And this kind of gives you a perspective on who the guy is. Civil litigation and criminal defense. To me, Mr. Naresh is a 100% serious flight risk. Let's get Magnolia in the chat while we talk about this important key details and shocking evidence. Knives? Where are the two other knives? And then they also said blood possibly in the drain, blood stains or blood in the drain of the bathtub, stains on the floor, bed moved, card sold. I mean, come on, folks. Inconsistent statements, lying, saying, oh, she ran off, she went to her family when none of her family lived in the United States. Love. Sounds like lies to authorities. It sounds like manipulation. Get Magnolia in the chat and we can talk about it since we've been on this case since day one. I'm sure Magnolia will have a lot to say, and I still have a lot to say about this. We're going to read key details too. Hi, Magnolia. Welcome aboard, Magnolia.
We're going to listen to Magnolia a little bit, and we'll listen.
So let's talk. Magnolia, let me get this little thumbnail out here so we can continue to talk about this particular issue. What's your take on the new evidence that has been put out there? This whole situation, him, her, what's up?
Yeah, number one, this is premeditated murder. I think just based on what they released so far, it's easy to see he planned this. They're saying that he went and bought 3 knives on the 30th, and on or before the 30th is when, or on or around the 30th, so 30th, 31st, somewhere in there is when this happened. And so going and buying a set of 3 knives tells me that he planned this. So it kind of eliminates the idea that, because sometimes with these murders that happen, it's like they get into an argument, it's a heated discussion, she's trying to leave, he doesn't want her to leave, and he snaps and does something to her. Well, I think we can eliminate that as a possibility. I think that he planned to do this and carried it out. I mean, it's just absolutely monstrous. And
it's literally like a serial killer, just a slasher, like, and I don't mean to be, I'm just saying,
yeah.
But I don't get that, Magnolia, as far as if you're going to plan to murder somebody, why would you stab someone? I'm assuming she got stabbed. I mean, knives, blood all over the place. Why would you do that inside your home, knowing that the evidence is out there? The police can get that they have the technology to determine what happens. I don't get it.
Well, another thing about those knives, when they said he bought 3 and they only
narcissists never think they'll get caught.
One of them, right? There's 2 knives missing. So that tells you he probably broke the 2 knives. So that tells you that this was an especially brutal attack too.
Rage.
So
like rage.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so
it's not like he just bought knives because he wanted to just have extra knives. I mean, come on, man. The day prosecutors assume that she was murdered, he buys knives.
Yeah,
it's like buying the murder weapon before you commit the murders. It's like no different than
Sonia. Hey,
right beforehand they go and buy guns or obtain guns at a gun store and then commit a mass shooting, right?
Yeah,
it's no different.
I love how his attorney is like, oh yeah, he just felt like selling his Tesla. That's completely ridiculous because I don't know if y'all have friends that have Teslas, but I do. I have a whole set of friends who have Teslas, and everyone I know that has a Tesla is almost like emotionally connected to their car. Like they love those Teslas. Any Tesla owner has like this crazy attachment to their car. So
I was afraid he would,
is going to
Nicole.
just randomly go sell his prized Tesla 2 weeks after his wife goes missing.
And
That's
less than a year,
ridiculous.
less than a year since he obtained it, because according to the realtor, it seems like he obtained the Tesla and the home August of last year.
Yeah, the car, the house, the baby, and the job.
So how dumb?
1 year ago, he had all these things going for him. He had a beautiful family, a beautiful home, a beautiful car, a great job that any immigrant, I feel like any immigrant coming to America, it seems as though, he and Mamta had achieved the American dream, so to speak. Right?
Absolutely.
They had it all.
Absolutely.
They had it all.
Absolutely. Both were productive citizens with jobs, good jobs, nice neighborhood, $750,000 home, nice neighborhood. Never heard anything about problems from them. Mamta they had a
I'm
child.
with you, truly.
They were beginning a beautiful life, but then something happened. Maybe in the springtime, right? In the spring, something internal.
Well, I think it was leading up longer than that, because didn't she join those groups around February or so? So things must have been building since then. And I kind of actually think that you're right when you mentioned, I think last week when we first talked about this case, you were showing the TikToks and some of the people, and we showed there was one of the TikToks that she had made where he's sitting right beside her, and everyone in the chat noticed that he just looked very cold, like he just didn't like what she was doing. And I kind of think you might be right in the fact that maybe he didn't really like this TikTok stuff too much, or maybe he thought she was becoming a little too Americanized, like maybe she had a little bit too much independence and he was getting uncomfortable with that. And he also mentioned to the reporter that day in the doorway, remember he said that she had certain places she would go and hang out. So this tells me that she seems to have had a very active social life. And she clearly had a very tight circle of friends who really loved and cared about her, and coworkers. So it sounds like to me, Mamta, she was like very happy, living her best life. She has this beautiful, absolutely beautiful baby girl who just, you can tell, is just so sweet natured and probably never gave them a moment of trouble. She just looks so sweet, and they're happy, they're singing, they're dancing. Mamta is, building deep relationships in the community, and she's got friends and all these things. And you can just tell that Naresh is someone who people probably don't gravitate to like that. You know what I mean? And when you talk about these relationships where one person is a narcissist, one thing that's very common is the narcissist actually becomes jealous of their partner. They become jealous of their popularity.
Achievements.
That they might be more popular than, like Naresh maybe saw this, and it made him feel insecure, and he didn't like it. And and Janine said that he was a narcissist, she was an empath. Yes, and unfortunately, those are the types that gravitate towards each other, because narcissists normally will, they seem to love to target empathetic people. We see it all the time, like with Micah and JP. It's a textbook. It's a textbook. And just being able to see Mamta living her life with so much joy and love, and the fact that she doesn't actually have family here, I think we just learned that over the last 24 hours. We thought she might have had family.
Well, that's because that's what the information. That's because that's the information that he was putting out. He was trying to lie. And that's another thing he got caught lying for, saying, well, she's with family in the country.
Right. And so now we know she actually didn't have family. However, I think that she made her own family. She chose her own family there in Manassas Park, and with her coworkers, the community. The outpouring of support for her has been unbelievable to see. So many people love and care about her, and that is something that a narcissist just will not like. So I think that over time, all of this stuff just kind of like bubbled up, and you can kind of tell too that she's a little bit of a free spirit, and he's definitely not. He just seems like the type of person who, like if the two of them would go to a party together, she would probably be the light of the room, and he would be over there sulking in the corner. That's kind of how they present. And so over time, it just seems like he just had enough. And then the fact that she even wanted to leave him. But we also know there was a level too of coercive control, like we talked about with Micah's situation. A lot of the abuse and things like that. In this case, people are pointing out that there's no history of physical abuse that we know of between these two, but coercive abuse is also abuse. And the fact that she didn't have her own car, so she had to take Uber everywhere. Just these little things, these little details that we've learned kind of tells me that he's just controlling her every move. She wasn't happy about his level of care with the daughter, like when she had to work. It almost seems like maybe he resented her going to work and him having to watch the baby, because that was something she expressed when she typed in those forums. She said basically that she was not satisfied with how, his parenting ability, basically. So it just sounds like for a long time this has been building, and she finally had decided that she was going to leave and try to start a new life, and she was looking for that support. And maybe, you know, maybe she had made some progress over the last 6 months, and maybe she really was like ready to go out and leave him and start a new life, and he just couldn't have that. He sees her as his possession.
That's what I was going to say, prized possession.
Yeah, he sees her and the baby as his possessions. The way he refers to the baby, he says, instead of our baby, he says my baby, my baby, my baby. Like, it's not your baby. it's y'all's baby. It's both of your baby. You know what I mean? So, but you can just tell there's these little things, like you can always pick up these little details from these people, and that tells you where he's really coming from and where his mind is.
Why can't people just let, if somebody wants out of a relationship, why can't people just let that go? Like, I don't understand. Like, you know, like, why can't somebody, if the marriage doesn't work out or somebody wants to leave, why can't some people just be in acceptance of that?
It's the loss of control. So someone like him is, you know, he's fueled by his ability to control situations. And, you know, clearly he's done a pretty good job of that up to this point in his life. I mean, he has achieved, he came to America, he joined the Army. I'm sure he set many goals for himself. Clearly he achieved all those goals. And, you know, he sees it as, you know, I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. I'm building this life. I'm buying this house. I'm getting this car. I'm getting this job. You know, this is my family. And, you know, it's all about control. And so the thing with these narcissistic men is, like, the idea of losing control of anything will really set them off. And sometimes they just can't accept it. You know, like with JP Miller, he was literally running around with another woman for the last 2 or 3 years and still would not leave Micah alone. Like, that just shows you how deep that goes, how deep their desire to hold on to control. It just goes very deep for some people. And I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. I don't know. Like, is he worried about
public humiliation,
being embarrassed because his wife left him? He doesn't want people to know that his wife left him or something, and he sees that as embarrassing or humiliating. I mean, it is their religion. We've heard many of these people in their Hindu community have said, in this religion, you don't really talk about divorce. It's just not a thing we do, you know? And so that's why Mamta had to kind of, like, go outside of her normal community to get that support. So maybe it's just that he's like, yeah, so Ms. Kirby said it's their culture. So, you know, so maybe for him, someone in that culture, in that religion, ideology, whatever you want to call it, to have your wife leave you, probably in those cultures, I imagine that society might look at that man as weak. Like, he wasn't able to keep his family together, or he wasn't able to keep his wife happy, or something like that. And so maybe he just was afraid of being embarrassed, and he saw it as humiliation. But yeah, we don't know. Somebody else in the chat mentioned, was he having an affair, or did he have another woman? I mean, I think that's entirely possible. But I don't know if he had an affair, but I do think that that's possible. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
So they're saying what investigators found in the home, in the shower, the whole floor of the shower lights up when processed with the blood trace technology, and in the bathtub area, blood and caulking was visible in the naked eye. Mm-hmm. So it seems like maybe he was trying to clean up evidence in the bathroom afterward of what happened in the bedroom. Maybe trying to wash off the knives or wash things off, and blood was in the tub area.
Yeah, the other night, 2 nights ago, when we were watching the footage of investigators at the house, it seemed as though they were really focusing on that master bedroom, and
they took a rug out.
We even said yesterday that it seems as though something happened in the master bedroom, and it did. So, yeah, it seems like he did this act to her in the bedroom, and then I don't know. They're saying that there was evidence that the body was dragged. So I don't know if maybe he was trying to wash things off in the shower or the bathtub. Maybe he was trying to clean things in the bathtub or something like that. But yeah, they said that the police, the investigators literally removed the bathtub. They pulled the whole thing out, and that's how they could see the blood. I guess he tried to clean up, but he didn't think about the fact that the blood would go underneath. You know, he's just not as smart as he thinks. And luckily with these criminals, that's often the case, because they think they're so smart. I think he's a midwit. I don't think he's very smart at all. I think he gets by on his dominating nature and things like that, and that's how he's achieved. But I don't think that he's particularly, like, brilliant or anything like that.
I mean, he can't be. He didn't seem like that with those botched interviews. It just made no sense. Whatever, it was like word salad. Yeah, that he was playing. And I'm shocked that he even spoke to the media, but I think the media called him up on an SI. I think both interviews where he acted weird, the one where he was called out when he went into his Tesla out there, and he just got caught off guard, and he was in a position where he couldn't just go away, so he just talked. It was kind of like an SI, right? They SI'd him. The one female reporter that went to his door. It seems like she straight up door stopped him. That's what you call that. She door stopped him. She went right up to the door. because his reaction, regardless,
he opened the door and talked for like 7 minutes.
But see, they knew that there's a possibility they would get the door slammed in their face, but that would have made him look even more guilty as it is, right? You know what I mean? Just his reaction himself. They put him in they put him in a situation where his, you know, if he doesn't want to talk, he's going to look even more guilty.
Yeah, so whenever I was at Project Veritas, so we did those all the time. We used to call them doorstops, and then over time we changed it to spontaneous interview or SI. But it's a doorstop. It's you go to the house and you knock on the door and you try to get them to talk. So we used to use various tactics to get the person to come out, but it would usually be like we would publish some like expose on someone, and whoever the villain was in the story, we would always go to their house to try to doorstop them and get a comment. And sometimes we would use different ruses to get them out of the house. We would say, "We lost our cat. Have you seen our cat?" And then they come out of the house, and then we're like, "Oh, we're with Project Veritas. What do you say about this video?" You know, so we did that all the time. But our policy on that was, no matter what happens in that situation, it's still newsworthy. So whether he talks, whether he slams the door, whether he runs away, whether he gets in the car and drives off, whatever it is, whatever reaction the person has, it's newsworthy. It's a story. So you're right. Even if she had gone to the door and he slammed the door in her face, the news would have reported that. They would have put that segment together and they would have said, "We went to get a comment and he slammed the door."
Which everyone would be like, "He's guilty. He slammed the door in the face." Right?
Yeah. So it's kind of like
he's in a no-win situation.
Not to get too technical here, but it's it's a tactic of you keep your subject on guard like all the time. So no matter what they do, they're in a situation. They're sort of like boxed in. They're boxed in because they've been exposed, and no matter at that point what they do, it's going to be newsworthy, and it's going to make the 5 o'clock news no matter what. So he sort of got himself boxed in there, but and that's just because it goes back to what we're talking about with Chris Watts, and I think we should start calling him Naresh Watts Bot.
That's a good one.
It even rhymes for crying out loud.
Naresh.
It goes back. Yeah, Naresh Watts Bot.
Wow, I like that. Let me get his mugshot here. Hold on. Naresh Watts Bot.
Yeah, but it just goes back to what we said before. Now, the reason that he found himself boxed in is because he's what we call a true villain, and he wants to control every situation, and he believes in his mind that he has everything under control. He's got it all under control. He's got it all figured out. He cleaned up the bedroom. He cleaned up the bathroom. He got rid of his car. He's just got it all figured out. He's got it all under control. So it was nothing for him to show up at the rally that day and do a little speech. It was nothing for him to parade himself around that rally carrying the baby, thinking in his mind, "Oh, everyone's going to feel sorry for me." So it's nothing for him to give these interviews that he should not have given. But again, he can't help himself. He can't help himself because in these situations with villains, if there's a choice to be made, you can count on them to always make the wrong one. The right decision in his case as a violent, evil murderer, what he should have done is stay quiet, or he should have pleaded for his wife's safe return and pretended to participate in the searches. But it's all in his mind, his control. He thinks everything's under control, but it's not. It's really not. On the outside looking in, we see this man is hiding something, but he thinks we're just all bamboozled and we believe his sob story that he's the one suffering, because that's honestly how he thinks. That's how his brain works. He thinks that it's all under his control.
Thank you, Peace and Struggle, and thank you, Miss Kirby, for that. And some people in the chat were saying that she does have a cousin in New York. I just want to put that out there, that people are in chat are saying that she had if she has a cousin, she has a cousin. But her immediate family are not from the country, and her mom's on her way into the country, correct?
Yeah, and I think when people say she doesn't have family here, when they say here, they mean in Manassas Park, in the immediate area. There's no family in that immediate area. But yeah, her mom was able to get an emergency visa granted. So her mom is coming to America as soon as possible.
Who's
because
this?
she wants to get the baby. She's trying to get custody of the baby. That's what she wants to do. So yeah, so I was glad to hear that they were able to get that visa granted, and she'll be able to come over here and at least she'll be able to take custody of the baby and be there however long she wants to be here, and maybe even participate in the justice process.
Wonder where his family's at and what his family has to say about the situation. And also what's going to happen to their house now. The $750,000 home. Is it a mortgage? It's going to go into foreclosure. What's going to happen at this point?
I would bet money that there's a mortgage on that house, and it'll most likely go into foreclosure.
But what happens if it's a murder house where a murder occurred? Do they have to put it on hold before they sell it to the next person? Case in point, some murder cases, they go to the house, right? Sometimes the juries in cases want to go to the house, the murder house. What would happen in this case if, in fact, she was murdered in the bedroom and he decided?
Okay, I'm going to stop that there, and we're going to watch some Vinnie Politan. I seen a video of her mom and dad talking today, but it was in another language. I couldn't understand them. Have y'all heard that there was allegedly they had people living in the basement of their house? Have y'all heard that? I'm going to get, it looks like that guy, Mike King's on here with him. Nicole, the one you sent me, we're going to watch it. I like Mike King from Profiling Evil. Ain't that his channel? I think so.
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation is a missing mom from Virginia. Her name is Mamta Coughlin, and she has a young child. And that little girl, as you watch the program tonight, I want you to keep in your mind that there's a little girl who doesn't have her mom. Here's her story. Mamta worked as a pediatric nurse at Prince William Medical Center. In August of 2023, Mamta gave birth to a baby girl, the first child of Mamta and Narish. And then Mamta went back to work. Early in 2024, there were some reported marital issues for the couple, and Mamta moved out of the house for a short while before returning. Then, on August 1st, when Mamta did not report to work and no one could contact her, co-workers asked for a welfare check to be done. Police went to the house,
Vinny too.
and eventually Mamta was officially declared as an involuntarily missing person. And now, her family, co-workers, and members of the community are wondering, what happened to Mamta? As always, people don't just vanish. Something happened. Now, people can voluntarily leave, but that's not the case here. Investigators believe that it's involuntary, meaning something happened. She did not want to leave, and that's why she's missing. Interesting. I want you to take a look here. WUSA 9 in Washington, D.C., covering the story, did an interview with Mamta's husband, and I want to read part of that to you. The reporter, talk to me about the last time you saw her. And then her husband says, in the evening of Wednesday, we were here and then we ate together. Yes. The reporter says, what did she say? What was she like? The husband then says, we don't have any type of that. It was like a normal day, like other regular days. Just, like taking care of our baby. It was like very normal. The reporter asked, did she say anything about leaving? And the husband, Naresh Bhatt, says, no. So he's saying that they ate dinner together on the 31st. She didn't say anything about leaving, and then she's gone. So big question when there's a missing person. It's usually the first question that you ask. And it's my first question tonight, which I think is important to understand. When was Mamta last seen? When and by whom? Like, where's the last proof that, there's Mamta? Let me bring in my guest. Joining me, Nepalese journalist who interviewed Mamta's husband, mother, and brother, Sachi Manali is with us. Also with us, retired police commander and host of the Profiling Evil podcast, Mike King. Thank you both for being here. Sachi, I know you
Mike King.
Really got a lot of information about this. So what do we know about people seeing Mamta and when the last time was that they saw her?
Thank you for having me. Actually, there are a little bit of confusion, looks like, because when I asked his husband, when I interviewed Mamta's husband, he said July 31st is the night he saw her last. But when I interviewed Mamta's mother is back home in Nepal. So whenever it's like 28, if it's 28 July here, it's 29th morning there. If it's night, then it's morning there the next day. So she told me July 30th is the last day she talked to Mamta, and she used to talk to her 2-3 times a day in a video call.
Okay, well, let me make sure I'm clear on this. So Mamta would speak to her mother, who's in Nepal, overseas, but would speak to her 2 to 3 times every day?
Yes, they used to do the video calls, and she said that on the last day, her face was very gloomy. So as a mother, she asked, what happened? Are you okay? Then Mamta said that everything is fine. And from what I'm hearing from all of her friends, childhood friends, even including her husband, Mamta never used to have a gloomy face, they said. Even the husband agreed to that. And she is highly inspirational. She never shares her things with other people because there's kind of stigma to it if other people know about our personal matters and they start talking about it. So she used to keep the information to herself. But there are very few people who she has talked to. Today only I found out that she has been talking about the troubled marriage. On June 24, she talked about her troubled marriage with one of her childhood friend. That information just came up this afternoon. That day she had a gloomy face, mother said. And when I asked Naresh about that, he said he has never seen her gloomy face.
Okay, Mike King, as an investigator now. So getting some of this information, how do you determine the last time she was seen, and how do you verify if it's someone in the house, right? If it's the husband, how do you verify that she ate dinner with him that night? She didn't speak to her mom that day, and she speaks to her mom 2 or 3 times a day. So what do you do with that type of information to try to get to the truth here?
Well, I think this timeline is now coming together much clearer, and it's really nice having this guest on who can help us understand that there was another name in there. I'm sure law enforcement has that name and that discussion, or at least I would hope they do. So now we're starting to see the timeline starting to tighten up a little bit. The interesting thing to me, Vinny, is that we have this last day seen at work of the 27th of July here in the United States. So those are firm dates. We have now this idea that she was speaking to her mother possibly on the 30th, but we have a friend who spoke to her on the 28th. And then the husband who's saying, I've talked to her, we had dinner with her on the 31st and I went to bed. And there are so many interesting dynamics and red flags here that it's just making you really scratch your head. But the thing that you have to do as an investigator now is start putting those together and then corroborating them with other pieces of evidence. If it was a Skype call or something else, was it done on a mobile device? And can that mobile device be digitally analyzed to determine that call was made or was it made some other way? And so there's got to be information to corroborate these little pieces and nuggets of information that are coming along to help tighten that timeline, because those are the things that are going to be needed to really understand people's testimony, the husbands, the friends, or anyone else who might have something to do with this woman.
All right, I wanted to put up on the screen something from the Washington Post, who did some investigating here as well. On July 31st, she did not call her mother in Nepal, as she had faithfully done every morning and evening, to share the mundane, what she ate that day, and the significant, the milestones of her infant daughter was hitting, her brother said in an interview. On August 1st, coworkers called police when she missed the shift at the UVA Health Prince William Medical Center. Manassas Park police officer went to her house the next day to do a welfare check, but left after her husband declined to report her missing. The police department said in the news release the family still had not heard from her, said the brother, who described pleading with his brother-in-law on August 4th to call authorities. So it seems, Sachi, that the family and her husband, so her brother not necessarily seeing eye to eye with her husband at this moment about the significance of her not being around.
Actually, I have found many contradictory statements already. And today only I was told that the brother, because her mother is not that educated and she has confessed that. So mother might have given us the wrong date. It could be even one day earlier, because I came to know this afternoon. I have not got a chance to contact his brother because it's early morning back there right now. So I came to know that actually the date was 29th morning. So I have to verify that after this program. Maybe I can verify that, and I have requested a screenshot of that call recording so that we know which day exactly it is. But mother said in my interview it's 30th of July.
Yeah, and Mike, how does this get more complicated for investigators? Now, there's something else going on here, right? There's language differences. Obviously, she's speaking to her brother and her mother in their native language, I presume. You, as an investigator, have got to get all the information you can. How do you approach a case like this, where there may be some witnesses who may have some language issues and not even be living in the United States, but have important information?
Well, at that point, you're reaching out to your friends at Interpol, and you're getting someone locally to go and talk if you can. You're getting translators to help you with understanding, especially the written communication, or if there's a recorded communication somewhere. And you're trying to lean upon all of, again, everything we're talking about keeps going back to what you have that you can corroborate and really start dialing down when she disappeared. Because now, if in fact this information is correct, Vinny, we have a bigger window of probably 2 days that she could have disappeared. So then as you go back and you look at mobile phone records, her mobile phone, if she's been given one for easy access, his mobile phone, the husband's, what's going on in the neighborhood. We have to take into account the cultural differences and the things that might be kept quiet in that Nepali culture that maybe would be more openly talked about in a U.S. dynamic culture, whether these were arranged marriages or love marriages through the Nepali customs. All of those things are going to really play an important part in understanding. And this is where it's so important that we really focus in on victimology and suspectology.
Absolutely. Guests staying with us. Coming up next, Why wasn't Mamta reported missing on August 2nd?
For a check on her welfare and spoke to her husband, Mr. Bott, who at that time provided additional information and did not want to report her missing.
Was a reporter brutally murdered for digging too deep?
Comes out, it'll be
Investigative report.
She's a person, she would not run away and she does not do things for herself.
She wouldn't run away. She wouldn't leave her baby, her young child. We're talking about Mamta Coughley, pediatric nurse and a missing mom of a young child. So this case, I think, is really building up in terms of intensity of the community now getting involved in searching, and intensity of the investigation by law enforcement. I want you to take a listen here to a missing person update. This is from the Manassas Park Police.
On August 2nd, officers responded to Mamta Coughley's residence for a check on her welfare and spoke to her husband, Mr. Bott, who at that time provided additional information and did not want to report her missing. On August 5th, Mr. Bott contacted the police station and reported Mamta Coughley as missing. Between August 5th and 8th, detectives conducted an extensive investigation and found that there was significant lack of recent contact by Mamta with her family, friends, employer, and on social media postings. Given this and other circumstances, detectives were able to elevate her missing person status to involuntary/critical missing person. July 27th, Mamta was last seen at UVA Health Prince William Medical Center. On July 28th, Mamta spoke to a friend. On July 31st, Mamta was last seen by her husband.
Okay, let's think about the timeline now. Last seen by her husband on July 31st, then there's August 1st, and then August 2nd is when police come to the house to do a wellness check, which brings me to my next question in this case. And it has to do with that wellness check. Why wasn't Mamta reported missing on August 2nd? 2 days away from her husband, 2 days away from her little baby. Still with me, Sachi Manali and Mike King. Sachi, from your investigation here, what is the reasoning behind 2 days she's gone and her husband doesn't want to report her missing?
I must tell you this, that before I talk to you, I didn't get enough time to transcribe everything, but let me start like this. After talking to Naresh and Mamta's family, there are so many contradictory statements. Naresh, whatever statement Naresh made, I have a proof that is not true already, And Naresh reported on 5th of August after being pressured by Mamta's family and her cousin who lives in New York. He didn't report by himself. Mamta's mother called him, repeatedly from Nepal, but he did not pick up the phone on August 3rd. And then I don't know when he replied back. I have to get that timings because I have not collected that yet. But he did not pick up the phone till August 3rd. And then after that, he called back because they were desperate to know the whereabouts of Mamta, but he didn't pick up the phone. And from there, they started contacting the cousin who lives in New York. And that cousin actually texted Naresh asking how Mamta is doing. And then I can read that text to you here, which is in front of me. I have printed the text on August 2nd, they started chatting. Actually, they have a long chat. They started chatting from August 2nd, asking the whereabouts of Mamta. And then on what is interesting is on August 4th, on August 4th, the information that Naresh gave to her is quite concerning because till now, I have not followed the mainstream media because I'm working tirelessly in the group, in a campaign to find Mamta. That's why I have not been able to focus that. But what Naresh told in my show was their relationship was extraordinarily nice. They don't even argue. They don't do anything. But Naresh likes to fight or argue sometimes. But Mamta didn't even used to do that. And he tried to explain it as extraordinarily wonderful or extraordinarily nice. And on August 4th, the lady, she's not her, the nurse texts her saying she's not at her work. She might be at her apartment. It's amongst all other texts. And August 4th at 12:32 a.m., the cousin asked Naresh, did you guys have fight again? Naresh writes, no. We decided to separate with respect. No any discussion at all. Even we don't argue. She wanted to move either New York or Texas. Naresh has been saying that their relationship is extraordinarily wonderful, nice. They even watch TV, used to watch TV once a week together. They don't even argue. He likes Mamta to comment on him sometimes, but she's not even doing that. Whereas after her missing on August 4th, even before reporting, formally to the police, he says, no, we decided to separate with respect.
Wow.
So I asked her mother, I was about to talk to her, and then I said, did anyone threaten you or, bribe you or something to come to this interview? She said, I'll read that to you. I didn't have much time to transcribe, but I have a gist of it. She said they have a tea shop in Nepal. They keep on telling that our son-in-law knows everything. She cried, mentioning that I am very worried for my daughter, whether I can see her or not. So I came to this show myself. Even before I asked the question, she started telling everything, that her husband, my son-in-law, had done physical abuse to my daughter earlier as well in last February. But I was in touch with my daughter, even when 2 times she was out of the house. She stayed with a friend for a week or so. And after that, she moved to an apartment for 8 to 9 days. But that time, her in-laws knew, her husband knew, her
Everyone
parents,
knew. This
everybody
time,
knew about that.
wow. Sachi,
Everyone
this
knew.
is huge. This is huge.
This time,
Let me just cut you off for a second. I just have to cut you off for a second.
Yeah.
We're looking at pictures from WUSA, a search of the marital home. I just want to bring Mike King in just to get a little reaction to all these major developments that you are reporting for us. Mike, what are your thoughts here? A potential statement by the husband that they had separated on the 4th before he reports her missing on the 5th. That makes no sense.
Yeah, this whole thing, again, like I said earlier, is so filled with red flags. The idea that there's past behavior that, as we've said before on the show, is always predictive of future behavior, that this domestic violence cycle that occurs is a true thing and a real principle, and that it can lead to domestic violence homicide. Now, whether that's the case in this situation or this woman had some emotional break and had to leave the area, we don't know, Vinny. But with the things that are happening with a child birthday and
it's all about
the importance of being a mother, it just doesn't fit, does it?
No, it doesn't. All right, Sachi Manali and Mike King, unreal developments here. All right, folks.
I say it was the 31st child.
We'll keep digging for answers as the investigation continues. I want you to keep this in mind. This woman chose to be a pediatric nurse, and she's a young mother of a young child. Here's her story. Mamta Kafli came to the U.S. from Nepal in 2021. She worked as a pediatric nurse and married a man named Naresh Bhatt. They lived on a beautiful, quiet cul-de-sac in Manassas Park, Virginia. In 2023, they welcomed their first child into the world, a beautiful baby girl. But close to a year later, Mamta vanished, missing seemingly without a trace. And now her family, her coworkers, and the community are coming together to help find Mamta. So whenever you cover a story like this or investigate a case like this, the focus is always on those closest to the missing person, right? Because they will have the most information and the most interaction with the missing person. And obviously, you want to get information from them, and you also want to potentially clear them as a suspect.
But Nicole, she talked to her mom then, didn't she?
Now, take a look.
Talked to her mom every day.
Post, report and investigation they did. Accounts of the couple's relationship from Mamta Bhatt's brother and 2 friends, as well as her own posts in a private Facebook group, reflect turbulence that prompted her to leave the home at least once in February. Kafli, as well as friends Ashish Sangrula and Sarita Nupain, said the couple had a disagreement that then resulted in Bhatt staying with Nupain for a week. It was not clear what caused the strain. Nupain said that the couple had an arranged marriage in 2020 and that Mamta Bhatt immigrated to the United States in 2021. This is an important part of this story. A missing wife, a missing mother. What's going on?
I didn't know that, Nicole.
Closed
Thank you,
doors
love.
in the 4 walls of their beautiful home in Manassas, Virginia. That brings me to our next question in this investigation. What was the status of their marriage? Were they happy? Were they separated? Was there domestic violence? Joining me, Nepalese journalist who interviewed Mamta's husband Mamta's mother and brother. Sachi Manali is with us. Also joining us, private investigator, founder of Victim News Online, Erica Morse. Sachi, let me begin with you. First, was this an arranged marriage, number one? And number two, what was the status of this marriage? Were they happy? Were they fighting? Were there separations? Were there disagreements? What do we know?
As I have come to know that, because I never knew Mamta, so as I've come to know from their parents, I'm in direct contact with them. And as I have come to know from their parent, her mother keeps on saying, and she has said that in this video as well, what he did, how he did, my son-in-law knows everything, but he does not open up. So, and Naresh has been saying that their relationship was extraordinarily, well. They don't even argue, but his own text message that I have received, which I have printed here, suggests that that was not the case, because Naresh has written on August 4th, that is after the disappearance of Mamta.
I don't think he's admitted to nothing, but they luminoled her bedroom and they found blood pools, and then in the bathroom it was covered. There was blood in the tub, like down in the caulking and stuff. And there was like, they could tell when they luminoled that he dragged her from the bedroom to the bathroom. But yeah, he's not cooperating at all.
Did you guys have fight again? He has said no. We decided to separate with respect. And in other medias, including my media, Naresh had said that my relationship was so good. If it was good, then why is he even mentioning on August 4, 12:32 a.m. that they decided to separate with respect, no any discussion at all? And even they don't argue. So that's the question. So we don't know, but Naresh's two statements are contradictory here. This alone actually contradicts with his previous
Very welcome,
statements.
If they find her and I'm not live, I'll message you and let you know as soon as I find out.
The biggest part of this investigation is finding out what's going on behind closed doors. And when you're getting mixed messages, contradictory statements from the father of the baby, from her husband, that's problematic.
It is very problematic. And I actually caught in an interview that he did that even though he talked about it was such a great and normal night, and I think Wednesday, the 31st, is what they should be focused on based on his statements in that interview. But then he slipped at one point and he said,
she sounds like Betty.
We can fix it. And I caught that and I went, let me wait for the reports of the DV to start coming out. And then I saw an interview with one of her friends that talked about on the 28th, she had several missed phone calls from her, and then that she was texting that friend, begging her to come over to the house. So I think there was a buildup taking place, and I think we're starting to learn more about maybe a potential explosion or an argument that went awry.
Okay, this is from the Washington Post, and we've been talking about this. Mamta and her baby arrived at New Payne's home in February. Now, this is a friend without money, a car, or a working phone. She said, so New Payne bought her a used phone and added her to her family's phone plan to ensure she could coordinate rideshare trips to her shifts at the hospital. New Payne said at one point, Mamta briefly had her own apartment in Falls Church. In an interview with WUSA 9, the husband, Naresh Bhatt, cited this as a reason he did not immediately report her missing, saying she had gone missing 3 times before. At that time, she has some demands, so that's why she just stepped out and stayed with a couple of times with her friends. And one time she moved to Falls Church to someone, I don't know the name, but she has an apartment. This is what Naresh Bhatt told the reporter, according to WUSA 9. So, Sachi, as I'm looking at this, it appears that at some point she does leave the home, but I believe she left the home with her baby. This time she's gone without the baby. That's a big difference.
Actually, when she initially left, I think it was, as the lady has told me, her friend, it was just for a week that she stayed with her, and 8 to 9 days she stayed in that apartment with some other Nepali family. That's what they have told me. And what is really, what makes really you to scratch your head is previously everybody knew where Mamta was, including Naresh, in-laws, mother, brother, everybody. In my interview with Naresh, her brother, Mamta's brother, has commented saying, why didn't you notify me? And they had to wait from back home to repeatedly, trying to know Mamta's whereabouts. So this time, nobody knows.
Erica,
and it's like very different story from before.
Absolutely. Completely different. There's not the communication. There's not the baby going with her. This is also from the Washington Post. A post from Mamta's Facebook account began appearing in a closed group for single mothers in the DMV area asking for help. In posts on February 6th and the 16th, Mamta's account seeks advice from the group on navigating a separation and retaining custody of her baby. In follow-up comments, she appears to post about being new to the United States, unsure of where to go for legal help, and worried about money. Erica Morse, couple things here. Number one, when she left before, everyone knew where she was, and she apparently had her baby with her. This time she leaves, no one knows where she is, and she doesn't have the baby. That is a different circumstance, and it seems, at least in February, it is possible that she was looking for a way out of this relationship.
This is a woman planning an exit strategy. And as we know, Vinny, that is also the most dangerous time in a woman's life, is when she's planning to walk away. Now, the one thing I will say is that law enforcement is being very close-lipped about this. And there is a possibility here that she escaped and got to a DV shelter. And if that is the case, law enforcement will do their due diligence. And we may not necessarily know the outcome for privacy reasons. So I am encouraged, considering they're talking about hope and they're talking about everybody remaining positive, because that is a potential resolution to this case that we must consider. Absolutely. I think everything's on the table. And if you go to a DV shelter, things remain anonymous. You don't want anyone to know where you are if you feel like you are in danger. That's part of that. Sachi, let me ask you some questions. Do we know if she had access to a vehicle, like a car, to get away? Or if she left on her own, would she have to get a ride or walk?
I came to know even from the husband that she used to call Uber for her work. She did not have a car. And in one question, I asked him, you said that you went to search for her and then just looked from outside in a friend's house between August 1st and the 5th. August 1st, he said, he went there, he looked from outside and then said that Mamta is not there, and then he came back. I said, well, how do you know that she was not there? Because she doesn't drive a car. That means her car was not there in a driveway or parked outside. So how do you know that? He said that, well, that friend's house is transparent. I just saw from outside that Mamta is not there, and I returned home on August 1st. And I asked him, why didn't you call the police then? He said, she used to go for work like for a couple of days earlier. I then told, well, that was the time when you had a fight, but your relationship is extraordinarily nice, wonderful at this time. Why should she go? Were we expecting her to go somewhere? He said, no. I asked him, was she scheduled to come home that night? He said, yes. Well, then how could you sleep without even reporting to the police? Wow. He said, well, I put my baby to sleep and then I went to sleep. Okay, then was he there on August 2nd morning? He said, no, she was not there. Why didn't you report then? He said that, well, that was not I was not serious by that time. And I asked him what happened when the police came. He explained that. And then I said, did you file the report then? Then he said that, well, I told the police that she used to go earlier as well like this. And I told all the stories. Then police say that, well, then you searched her till you get exhausted. And once you are exhausted, call us. Once you see that you can't find her anywhere, then call us. I then ask, in different questions, I then ask him, where did you search her? Maybe he said one place. And I said, does it take so long, so many days to search in one place? The place where you went on August 1st, you already went there, right? So it doesn't make sense. And then when I asked that about August 1st, he was out of the camera because it was Facebook Live. And then he said, baby is crying. Well, when I revisited this just before talking to you, I didn't hear baby crying. Then I put really that, device to my ear. I don't hear baby crying. He goes to the room. And then I don't think I have mistaken that. He goes to the room, camera turns to, and he was trying to mute the camera. I said, well, this is a live session. Just turn the camera on. It's okay. People will see your natural life. Just try to be natural. That's what I told him earlier as well. So he goes to the room. We don't hear even any baby crying sound. The camera goes face towards the wall or the ceiling. and then baby cries.
Of course.
He lifts up the baby, and then you will know when you watch that.
Absolutely.
I was
Satu Manali,
surprised myself.
we're out of time for now, but we really appreciate your insight. Great reporting. Erica's going to stay with us. Still to come, how does this case get solved?
What's coming up with our daily spot?
Okay, this is a case involving a mom of a young child who's missing. They live in a beautiful neighborhood. I want you to take a look at the area. I have a few maps to show you here because I think it's important. I think it's significant that we figure out exactly what we're talking about here. So take a look first at the house in the cul-de-sac, okay? We've seen areas like this throughout the country. This is Northern Virginia. Northern Virginia is beautiful. Not cheap either, folks, by the way. But let's pull the map out just a little bit. So I want to give you a better idea. Oh, look at all that green space to the right. I think you may have a country club somewhere in there. You may have a shooting range in there somewhere. You've got some trails and a whole lot of trees. Let's pull it out a little bit further. I said it's Northern Virginia. So yeah, you've got water as well. So, you put the timeline here's a little bit vague. Give someone time for something bad could potentially happen. So that brings me to my next question, which is, how does this case get solved? How do you figure out where Mamta is and what happened to Mamta? Still with me, private investigator Erica Morse, and joining us, private investigator Jason Jensen. All right, Jason, how does this case get solved?
Well,
Okay, y'all want to know a little tidbit of information about this Jason Jensen dude? Y'all remember that girl that Gray Pearl said that was me that Nonsense was dragging? Murder Candy podcast. This is her husband.
it seems like from the latest
Or boyfriend or was or something, but yeah, this is her, yeah.
updates that we are hearing is that law enforcement is working the home, probably executing a warrant. So that's always a good sign that they're going to either clear the husband, go through digital devices, trying to figure out if there's some way to corroborate allegations, accusations, or whatnot so that they can move on. If it's something to do with the husband, this kind of is reminiscent to like latest coverage of like Scott Peterson and Lacey Peterson. If this is a death and a concealment, they're hoping to get some information to corroborate that. If there's blood stains at the house that were cleaned up, if there is any kind of digital footprint showing a obscure water area that he may have traveled to, that's all going to be important.
These images from WUSA 9 in the area, and you take a look, and one of the things I noticed, Erica Morse, you see the yellow tape. They call that crime scene tape, don't they? You've got an evidence van in the driveway, and then you've got some other cars there, people walking in and out of the house. What are your thoughts, Erica, about what you're looking for in that house, what you could find in that house?
Unfortunately, that is called crime scene tape, and that's not necessarily a good sign because that's indicative that they believe a crime transpired in that location. So as Jason said, they're going to be looking for digital devices. She maybe didn't have a phone, it sounds like, or was borrowing a phone from a friend. They're going to be looking for evidence of a struggle. They're going to be looking for things like furniture missing. Is bedding missing? Are sheets missing? Is there evidence of something being cleaned up recently or recent bleach in a specific area of the house? And then they're going to lean on the husband. If I were law enforcement, I'd be pushing him to take a polygraph. That way we can rule him in or rule him out. But the crime scene tape around the house, not necessarily a good sign.
Jason, every time someone is missing and there's a wooded area near the house, I say that's the area that you've got to hit first in the search. You've got to search that area. How many times have we seen that someone who is missing is somewhere near the closest wooded area to their home?
Oh, exactly. In fact, I've even heard Erica say within a mile of the last place where the missing was seen is a prime area to search first, because it's oftentimes the closest area where they're going to try and ditch a body, because there's easy explanation. Went for a walk, something happened while they were at a local walk, or they're looking for a place that they're comfortable with, that they're familiar with to dump a body, as opposed to go to some foreign area where they could be caught. So yeah, close to home is often the place that they pick.
And you back up to a vast wooded area, even if she's wandering out on her own, that could be a place where she could go. Erica, let me ask you this. I'm asking, how does this case
Shit,
get
Nicole,
solved?
me
What are your thoughts
too.
about
You gonna
the
be sister
chances
wives?
of
I'll
this
buy
case
you
being solved?
blinged out cat collar.
I think the chances are as good as Maya Miglietti, just plain and simple, because the two cases are so similar. And I bring that up because of the daughter's birthday, Vinny. Here we are again, a mother missing her daughter's birthday.
It makes me want to cry seeing videos of
this
her.
woman ran for her life in a moment of actual escape, and she felt that was her only time to flee, and did so without her baby because it was that dangerous. Or they're treating that like a crime scene for a reason, and they're going to have to expedite finding her, and that's why they have all these searchers.
Erica Morse, Jason Jensen, thank you so much. Mamta is a mom. Mamta is also a pediatric nurse. I'm having a real hard time thinking that there's any chance that she voluntarily left her baby behind. I'm just not buying it. Something happened, and hopefully investigators find the evidence that lead to an answer for that little baby. I'm Vinny Politan. We'll keep digging for answers as the investigation continues.
You call Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm actually good by myself, for real. You just gotta learn who you are and love yourself, for real, and don't worry about it, all the other bullshit in the world. Nicole, do you know where the video is of the airport, of them in the airport? I've heard of that, and I've seen it somewhere, and now I can't find it. I've been looking for it, where they first met in the airport or whatever. Do you know where that's at? Yeah, I hope they do too. I hope it's not another Anna Walsh situation, or, you know, they still haven't found that lady. You have it? Okay. Email or text it to me if you don't mind, if you have it. What? Let's see what this is. Okay. Thank you, Nicole. In a different, I just want to see their body language. That's all I want to see, because people say it's weird. So it's all good anyway.
सम्पर्कविहीन नेपाली नर्स ममता काफ्ले
Yeah, I just want to watch the body language because they said it was weird. Yeah, I've been looking for it. I want to see it. Yeah, I turned off the audio. I don't hear it. Let me slow it down before it gets to it. I got it on regular speed. Maybe that'll help. I want to see the body language. Oh, look at that beautiful baby girl. Ain't got a mom or a dad now. That motherfucker. He thought he was gonna get out of the country, didn't he? He thought he had this. He's got a fucking asshole chin. Fucking narcissistic piece of shit. He knew he was gonna lose her and he wasn't gonna let nobody else have her either. Bless her heart. Look at her. She's so beautiful. This shit happens way too much, man. It's crazy. I want to. Here it is. Hold on. There it is. Let's see here. Yeah, I want to see the longer one because they said she was very uncomfortable. Aw. Shit, what just happened here? Right, truly. I've heard people saying, well, why should her parents get her daughter? Because her parents sold their daughter off and look what happened. It's like, oh my God, are you fucking serious? They didn't fucking sell their daughter off. I mean, it's normal for that culture, you know? They didn't know she's gonna get murdered. They would have never done that. Thank you, Nicole. Hey, Pisces. I know. Did you text it to me, love? Yeah, there it is. Truly, did you just share with me? Let's see, hold on. See. And that one's not very long either, is it? I don't know if is there one longer than that? Hold on, Truly's on here too. That's the same one that Nicole just sent to. Let's see. No, I can't save that. July 29th, 2021. I don't know if I can see here. Hold on. Just a second, you all. Hold on. Rupa. Let me. And it's a longer clip than we have, right? Um. What else? Just. There we go. Mm. Shit. Here it is. Yeah, that's more than we had. I know it does look like a lot of stuff's gone. Yeah, truly, you and her sent me the same exact one. So let me pull it up here on TikTok. Here. Just watch how she acts. I don't know. She does look like. And she was really young, and he's a lot older than her. I'm going to scroll through these and see if there's any more. Oh, these were a long time ago, but. Yeah, what's the age difference on them? See, watch. She's so young. It's crazy. All right, well, I'm going to end that, and I'll try to go live earlier tomorrow. I just had a lot going on today, and I want to go live and some Trump stuff I need to. Good night, y'all. Thank y'all. I'm gonna end this. Go to bed. I got a headache. I've had a fucking headache all day. Adios, amigos.